Hi, I'm Nancy from Spirit Messages and Prayer Melodies, and I wanted to talk a little more about what does God really want from us. So I asked God one day, what do you want from me? And what do you want from us? So this is basically like part two of what the message from God was. So I'm going to share it with you. So God is calling out to us, and He wants us to hear from Him. He wants us to open our hearts and respond. He exists inside of all creation. So when we see something beautiful, like clouds or the smile of a baby, He wants us to respond. Respond with love and gratitude. He wants us to be grateful for how He's existing in all creation and how He's reaching out to us. And God wants us to find Him and see Him all around us. So He wants us to allow ourselves to be regenerated and to be filled with life, which is a force of God. God is life. God is a living force of love, and He wants us to just allow ourselves to be regenerated by that. God wants us to enjoy being holy. He exists inside the pleasure. There's pleasure that exists inside of holiness and just being holy. And what does that mean? Well, it's going to mean some different things for different people, but it's an expression of love. That's one way to look at it. God wants you to feel and identify the deepest desires of your heart. God wants you and me to express and manifest the deepest desires of our heart. And He desires that more than we do most of the time. God wants us to understand the value and beauty of living a true life. So by true life, He means living in truth. And He wants us to transform more fully into living a true life, living in truth, and being an example of that. And be an amazing human being that's living like that, and be that example. He wants us to demonstrate that is an example of heaven on earth through the human being. He wants us to express that and demonstrate that. In Psalms 19:1, it says, "The heavens are telling the glory of God." So He wants us to be creative, co-create with heaven, and be imaginative and have vision about heaven and have the heavenly environment, and go ahead and manifest it, express it, demonstrate it. Just let yourself be moved by it. It will continue to expand in you and transform you, and it'll continue to grow inside of you. And so find ways to co-create with heaven, and we're supposed to have our own unique relationship with God and with heaven, with the divine. And God wants us to have that. So in your quiet time, let yourself feel that, receive it, get some vision about it, and go ahead and start living it little by little. God wants us to be dedicated to truth and goodness. and see more clearly where this vision can take us. So he wants us to be more committed to this path of dedication to goodness, to truth, and to love, and see where it takes us, and realize that there's a lot of fulfillment and satisfaction in this. There's a lot of pleasure in this kind of living and embracing of the true life that is here for us. And we get to co-create with God and live that true life and let it guide us, let us show us the truth and allow us to be filled fully with the divine. So that's part 2 of my talk. I'll talk to you later. Bye.